Chapter 11 Unforgettable. You are listening at novelfold.audio. Besides, there's a major risk in using the Eye of Probing's brush attribute without restraint. People might think he's a pushover who only gives and gets nothing back. Doing a favor once or twice is fine, but if it becomes a pattern, he'll get a reputation. With information spreading so fast these days, he'll either be seen as some kind of do-gooder or someone with a hidden agenda. Either way, it'll draw attention. If someone notices how quickly he's improving and starts digging around, things could get ugly, so, he needs to use the Eye of Probing and its attributes, but he has to do it carefully and in moderation. The immediate problem is, how can he guarantee acceptance into a top university in just 15 days? After a long think on the bench, an idea hit him. He said decisively, "System, I want to make a wish. I wish I had a photographic memory." Ding, the host wishes for a photographic memory. Confirm. Yang Ling was thrilled to hear that this wish was possible, and quickly confirmed. Ding, wish granted. The host has acquired the skill, photographic memory. Photographic memory, memory retention enhanced to 100%, max level. As the system spoke, a warm sensation rose from his heart and flooded his mind, and he knew he had the skill. Ding, congratulations to the host for completing the first wish and unlocking the special attribute, charisma. Note, as your charisma increases, your appearance, demeanor, and overall presence will improve. Note, charisma cannot be increased with attribute points. It increases automatically by 1 point each time you make a wish. Yang Ling was stunned. He opened his attribute panel and saw a charisma stat listed below his energy, showing a value of 1. This is a nice bonus. He walked to the park's small pond and looked in. The moonlight reflected a handsome young face. Did I just get better looking? Yang Ling laughed. He didn't care too much about his appearance, but naturally it didn't hurt. What he really cared about was this photographic memory skill. Thinking of it, he got up and hurried back to the ward. Back in the room, he grabbed a magazine, quickly scanned through it, and tossed it aside. Then he tried to recall the content, and a smile spread across his face. He remembered everything in the magazine, word for word. Awesome. Yang Ling laughed. With this, he could devour books, textbooks, and practice problems like crazy. But it was late, so he suppressed his excitement and went to sleep. After a quiet night, Yang Ling changed and left the ward early the next morning. He planned to go to the admissions office to register and buy some textbooks and study guides. Just as he reached the hospital entrance, a clear voice called his name. He turned and smiled. It was the nurse he had helped yesterday. She was beautiful to begin with, but now she was wearing a long casual dress with her hair down, making her even more stunning, nearly as beautiful as Fang Yue. Coming closer, the nurse smiled and said, "I didn't get a chance to thank you properly yesterday." "Thank you." Yang Ling nodded slightly and said, "There was something I didn't have time to ask you yesterday." The nurse asked curiously, "What's that?" "Your name." Yang Ling looked at her with a sincere expression. Chapter 12 The Little Nurse's Shield. You are listening at novelfold.audio. Hold on a sec. Huh. The nurse stared at Yang Ling, then burst out laughing. "Is that all? I thought it was something important. My name's Zhang Yuro." Zhang Yuro. Yang Ling repeated softly, "Nice name." Noticing a faint blush on her face, he chuckled. "Hungry after your shift? Come on, let me treat you to breakfast." Huh. Zhang Yuro looked surprised, instinctively touching her stomach. "How did you know I was hungry?" Yang Ling was already heading out. Soon, they arrived at a breakfast place. Yang Ling ordered 2 orders of Xiaolong Bao. Zhang Yuro, who was truly hungry, thanked him and dug in. Ding! You fulfilled Zhang Yuro's wish for breakfast. Wish value +1. Current progress, January 10th. Yang Ling smiled, and started eating too. While they were eating, a young man sat down and exclaimed, "Yuro." "Ah!" Zhang Yuro jumped, a look of discomfort crossing her face as she recognized the young man. "Dr. Wang, what are you doing here?" The man, Dr. Wang, scooted closer, a strained smile on his face. Why didn't you tell me you switched hospitals? It took me forever to find out you were at first hospital. I came to see you. Zhang Yuro edged closer to Yang Ling, saying hesitantly, it's not going to work. Please leave me alone. Huh, Dr. Wang's face darkened, he sneered. Not going to work. Have you forgotten who saved your father's life? Zhang Yuro's eyes welled up. She said, her voice trembling, I'm grateful you treated my father. But, we paid the bill. Please just leave me alone. Seeing her on the verge of tears, and noticing the stares from other customers, the young man softened his tone, saying, Don't cry. Feelings can grow over time. He pulled out a thick book. Didn't you want to study medicine? This treatise on typhoid fever and other illnesses, annotated by a famous doctor, is my prized possession. I want you to have it. Are you free tomorrow? Let's grab some dinner. Oh. Tomorrow Zhang Yuro looked flustered. She grabbed Yang Ling's arm, saying urgently, Ling, weren't we supposed to see a movie tomorrow? As she spoke, she winked at Yang Ling. Yang Ling was taken aback, realizing she was using him as a human shield. He sighed, looked at the young man, and said with a smile, Sorry, Dr. Wang. Nurse Zhang already promised to go to the movies with me. Ding! Zhang Yuro wants you to be a shield. You fulfilled her wish. Wish value +1. Current progress, February 10th. Dr. Wang's face turned sour. He looked at Yang Ling with disdain. Who are you, anyway? Yang Ling replied casually, one of her patients. Patient? Dr. Wang scoffed. I asked what you do. Societies like that. Before they deal with you, they check your job first, your income second, and your connections after that. Yang Ling replied, I'm a part-time police officer. TCH. Dr. Wang sneered. Several people in the breakfast shop also shot Yang Ling scornful glances. Chapter 13. Sorry, I can recite this book. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Dr. Wang eyed Yang Ling with a sneer. Forget the movies, he said, pulling out a few $100 bills from his wallet and slapping them on the table. Here's 500, enough for 10 tickets. Consider it payment for your breakfast too. Now, if you'll excuse us. The nerve. Such blatant disrespect. Clearly, Dr. Wang, with his superior salary, was looking down on Yang Ling. A ripple of hushed mockery spread through the onlookers. Yang Ling's expression hardened. A doctor should be compassionate and dedicated to helping others, not flaunting money. Frankly, your bedside manner needs work. Even a lowly police assistant like me has more class. His words hit home, implying Dr. Wang was unfit to practice medicine. The crowd, initially amused, now saw Yang Ling as idealistic but articulate, landing his blows without resorting to insults. Compared to him, Dr. Wang did seem rather crass. Curiosity shone in their eyes as they anticipated what would happen next. Ding! You've pleased the crowd by providing entertainment. Wish value +1. Progress /10. Zhang Yuro watched Yang Ling with a smile. His words clearly resonated with her values. Dr. Wang's face flushed. He hadn't expected such a sharp retort from the young officer. His attempt to impress Zhang Yuro with his generosity had backfired spectacularly. Now, the 500 yuan sat on the table like an accusation, impossible to ignore or accept. Ding! You've thwarted Dr. Wang's attempt to mock you. Attribute point +1. Yang Ling's unexpected gains lifted his spirits, but Dr. Wang, sputtering with indignation, retorted, I've spent years studying medicine. You dare question my professionalism? I offered you money to save face, not to embarrass you. Here, read a medical textbook, would you even understand it? The bystanders were taken aback. Dr. Wang's response lacked the finesse of Yang Ling's earlier remarks. Yang Ling picked up the treatise on typhoid fever and miscellaneous diseases, flipping through it casually. Dr. Wang, you're not making any sense. If my understanding is off, then our director would likely disagree, too, and you are implying that he, too, is an idiot. That the observation triggered a ripple of laughter. Yang Ling had turned the tables on Dr. Wang. The crowd, initially dismissive, now saw the young police assistant as clever, humble, and quick-witted. A few female college students in the corner were whispering and giggling, clearly intrigued by Yang Ling. Zhang Yuro couldn't help but smile, her cheeks flushing as she recalled their brief, intimate moment the previous night. Dr. Wang, his face alternating between red and white, snapped, "What right do you have to touch my book? Get your hands off it." Yang Ling tossed the book back onto the table. "You were planning to give it to Yuro, weren't you? I assume you've already memorized it cover to cover." Dr. Wang sneered, "Of course. Someone like you wouldn't understand it even if I explained it." Yang Ling chuckled. "Funny you mention that. I actually read the treatise on typhoid fever and miscellaneous diseases when I was a kid. Here's an idea. Let's each recite passages from the book and see who gets more right. If you win, I'll tear up the movie tickets and stay put in the ward. You can go on a date with whomever you want. But if I win, you have to promise to stop bothering Yuro." Chapter 14. You dare to compare with me. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Just a heads up, the room went silent, then erupted in disbelief. For a layman to challenge a doctor on medical knowledge? That's like bringing a slingshot to a gunfight. Many who initially liked Yang Ling now shook their heads, some even sneering. That cop's lost it. He's in way over his head. Young and cocky. Even if he noticed something, he's no match for a real doctor. If he wins, I'll eat my hat, and I'll enjoy every bite. The whispers swirled, but Dr. Wang just laughed. "So, you're Yang Ling. You're really out of your mind. You dare to bet me on medical skills? You have no clue what you're getting into." "Okay, I'm in." He turned to Zhang Yuro. "Don't worry, Yuro, I'll win this. We're still on for dinner tomorrow." Tears welled up in Zhang Yuro's eyes. She grabbed Yang Ling's arm, pleading, "Why would you say that? You're going to ruin everything." Yang Ling gave her a reassuring look, then faced Dr. Wang. "Let's stick to our specialties. You go first. Yuro can be the judge." Zhang Yuro sighed, resigned to her fate. She picked up the medical book, a heavy weight in her hands. Dr. Wang was ecstatic. This was his chance to crush Yang Ling. He launched into a detailed explanation of wind and cold treatments, referencing the treatise on typhoid and miscellaneous diseases. Zhang Yuro quickly found the relevant section, comparing it line by line. A crowd gathered, and murmurs of approval rippled through the group. Just like a doctor to know his stuff. Right out of the book. Amazing. So many big words, and he remembers them all. If only my son was so smart. As the praise washed over him, Dr. Wang couldn't help but glance at Yang Ling with a smug grin. Zhang Yuro just offered a weak smile. Finally, he finished outlining several treatments for wind cold, turning to Zhang Yuro with a triumphant look. "Yuro, am I right?" Zhang Yuro nodded reluctantly. "The 4 methods, plus the expert's notes, it's mostly correct." The crowd erupted in agreement. Even if he was a bit of a jerk, the guy knew his medicine. One aunt even nudged Zhang Yuro, suggesting that marrying a doctor meant financial security. They'd all but forgotten about Yang Ling. No one expected him to outdo Dr. Wang, but Dr. Wang wasn't about to let Yang Ling off the hook. He sneered, "I'm done. Your turn, Yang Ling." All eyes turned to Yang Ling, many with a look of amusement. Zhang Yuro looked at him helplessly, a wry smile on her face. Yang Ling, unfazed by the stares, simply smiled and said, "All right, I'll give a cure for wind chills to save Yuro the trouble of searching the book." A voice echoed in his mind, "Ding dong, skill activated." Over the next 10 minutes, the crowd was stunned. Yang Ling launched into a flawless discourse on wind and cold treatments, drawn from the theory of injury and miscellaneous diseases. His accuracy, comprehensiveness, the way he included various case studies and the expert annotations, it was all perfect. Chapter 15 People are not good looking. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Remember that for a second, Zhang Yuro's jaw dropped as she stared at Yang Ling. Behind him, the onlookers could have caught flies with their mouths open. Holy crap, this kid's got skills. Wow, a hidden master. Hey there, are you studying medicine too? Need a girlfriend? Dude, weren't you eating something wild on the live stream? What's the channel? I'll send you some love. Everyone was blown away, buzzing with excitement. Several female college students were practically drooling over Yang Ling. Dr. Wang was so shocked he almost choked. He knew his stuff, and Yang Ling had nailed it. He just stared at the cool, calm kid, finally understanding what they meant when they said, "Don't judge a book by its cover." Yang Ling grinned. So, Dr. Wang, was I right or what? Dr. Wang's face crumpled. He was supposed to be the expert, and he'd been outsmarted by some random guy. How could he even show his face around here? The crowd was feeling bad for him, like he was being humiliated in broad daylight. He stood up, shot a glare at Zhang Yuro, who was now all smiles and chatty with Yang Ling, and stormed off, resentment flashing in his eyes. Ding! You fulfilled Zhang Yuro's wish for you to win. Wish value +1. Ding! You fulfilled the wish of the onlookers to see some drama. Wish value +1. Current progress /10. Ding! You've crushed Dr. Wang's hopes for a date. Attribute point +1. Hearing the system notifications, Yang Ling was stoked, all that from breakfast, and he scored a wish value and an attribute point. Life was good. After Dr. Wang bailed, Yang Ling noticed everyone staring at him, some even trying to strike up a conversation. Breakfast was pretty much over anyway, so he quietly slipped out of the diner with Zhang Yuro. Walking down the street, Zhang Yuro was all aflutter, like a little bird let out of its cage. She seemed to have forgotten all about going home to catch some sleep. Yang Ling, you're amazing. Can you teach me medicine? I've always wanted to get my medical license. Yang Ling smirked. Teaching you isn't out of the question. But the tuition. Seeing Yang Ling giving her that knowing look, Zhang Yuro's face went red. She gave a little huff. You're such a tease. Her words were complaining, but she didn't sound angry. In fact, she seemed like a shy little girl, head down, clearly thinking about something. Yang Ling wanted to mess with her some more. He leaned in close and whispered in her ear, "What's going through that head of yours? You wouldn't happen to have a little crush on me, would you?" Huh? Zhang Yuro jumped back, blushing fiercely. I don't go for younger guys. See ya. She turned and stomped off. Yang Ling watched her go, smiling and shaking his head. He had stuff to do, and he felt bad just ditching the cute girl. So he had to annoy her a little so he could make a clean getaway. He was about to turn around and leave when Zhang Yuro came running back, huffing. "Give me your WeChat." Yang Ling chuckled, pulled out his old phone, and opened WeChat. His was a dinosaur and probably needed to be replaced years ago, but hey, what can you do? He used to be broke. If you like the God-level wish system all-domain domination, please collect it. God-level wish system all-domain domination 8kungshu.com has the fastest update speed. Dear, this chapter is over. I wish you a happy reading. Big smiley face. Chapter 16 You should buy it for me to see. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hold up, Zhang Yuro didn't seem to notice, just smoothly added Yang Ling as a friend. After glancing at him, she whispered, "I'll treat you to dinner sometime." Bye. Then she turned and walked away. Yang Ling watched her go, a faint smile playing on his lips. He'd just boosted his agility, and he could already feel the difference in his speed. Next, he hit the bank, cashed the $10,000 check, kept some walking around money, and put the rest on his card, linking it to WeChat Pay and Alipay. 10 grand isn't a fortune, but it's a start. Now he's got a little something in the bank. Standing outside the bank, he hesitated, then headed for the mall instead of a bookstore. He'd realized his photographic memory was pretty amazing. He didn't need to read word for word, he could scan lines, even entire pages, and remember everything perfectly. He was like a super scanner, recording anything he looked at. That meant he didn't need to buy a bunch of textbooks and workbooks. He could just go to the bookstore and read them there. He decided to use the money to buy a phone. Not to show off, but because his current one was a real dinosaur. This mall was one of the higher-end spots in the city, and it was already bustling even this early. Near one of the phone counters, Yang Ling stopped, stunned. He recognized the people talking. His classmates. A heavily made-up girl was mocking a young man in plain clothes. "Jianghua, why would you buy that for your girlfriend? $2,000. Really?" thought the other girl, who looked pretty average, visibly flinched. But Jianghua snapped back, "Chen Ping, what I buy my girlfriend is none of your business. You think your boyfriend is so rich?" Standing next to Chen Ping was a seriously overweight guy. Probably her boyfriend. Chen Ping grabbed the fat guy's arm and said smugly, "I'm just saying, I could pull a lipstick out of my bag that you couldn't afford." She seemed to find that hilarious and chuckled to herself. Jianghua, fired up by the insult, told the salesperson, "Let me see the Love Crazy X. I want to try it." The salesperson gave him a strange look but didn't say anything. The Love Crazy X was one of the most expensive phones on the market. The price tag on the box Jianghua was eyeing read $8,000. He fell silent. $8,000 was a lot of money, especially for someone just starting out. Seeing his hesitation, Chen Ping sneered, "Buy it? You really have that kind of money? Then why are you even looking at a $2,000 phone? You think I'm buying it to impress you?" That the fat guy chimed in, looking at Jianghua with open contempt. Then he glanced at Jianghua's girlfriend and seemed to take a second look. Jianghua's blood was boiling. He'd lost it. The truth was, he couldn't afford the phone at all. Chapter 17 I Bought It. You are listening at novelfull.audio. He hesitated for a second, but seeing the hopeful look in his girlfriend's eyes and Chen Ping's contempt, he couldn't back down. He just couldn't. If he slinked away now, he'd lose face with his girlfriend, and he'd even lose respect for himself. The commotion had already drawn a crowd. People looked at Jianghua with a mix of scorn and pity. Some were whispering, snickering at the poor sap. Hearing those voices, Jianghua's fists clenched, his eyes stinging. He felt helpless, almost desperate. Then a cool voice cut through the air behind him. "I'll buy this one for you." The voice wasn't loud, but everyone heard it clearly. Stunned, Jianghua whirled around. "Yang Ling!" he exclaimed, surprised. They'd been close friends back in high school, practically inseparable. But after graduation, life got in the way, and they'd lost touch. Yang Ling smiled and nodded. "I owed you 10 grand back then. Consider this payback." "Owed 10 grand? Jianghua was baffled, but a quick wink from Yang Ling shut him up. Yang Ling walked to the counter, a slight smile playing on his lips. "Ring it up. We'll take it." The salesperson studied Yang Ling. She'd seen all sorts in her time. The guy might be dressed plain, but he had a certain presence. She couldn't quite put her finger on it, but she knew he could afford a Love Crazy X. Her professional smile widened. "Certainly, sir. Just a moment, and I'll write up the order." Yang Ling nodded, but a sharp voice broke in. "Yang Ling, when could you ever afford a Love Crazy X? Did you skip meals for months to save up? Eat ramen for half a year straight? Are you trying to be funny?" Yang Ling wasn't about to waste his breath on a gold digger like her. He smiled at the sales clerk. "Actually, I'll take one for myself too." "So, two." Two, the salesperson's eyes widened. "Sir, are you sure you want 2 Love Crazy X phones?" She wasn't the only one surprised. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. "That kid doesn't look rich. 2 Love Crazy X phones. That's 16 grand. I bet he's just bluffing." Yang Ling ignored the whispers. He simply smiled at the salesperson. "What? You think I can't pay?" "Oh," realizing her mistake, the salesperson quickly apologized. "I'm sorry, sir. 2 Love Crazy X phones it is. I'll get the order ready right away." Chen Ping was practically stomping her feet in rage. Women like her had a finely tuned sense of disrespect. She clearly read Yang Ling's dismissive attitude as, "I look down on you." That being scorned by someone she'd always looked down on was unbearable, but she couldn't afford a scene in public. So, fighting back her temper, she sneered, "I'd like to see you try to pay for that." Meanwhile, Jiang Hua's heart was pounding. He knew Yang Ling's background. To put it bluntly, his family was broke, even poorer than his own. Yang Ling was obviously trying to help him save face in front of his girlfriend, claiming he was paying back a debt. A friend like that was rare as hen's teeth. Chapter 18. Is he the second generation of invisible rich? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Touched, but also a little worried, he looked anxiously at Yang Ling. The salesperson pulled up the order and asked, "How will you be paying today?" Yang Ling paused, then realized what she meant. Usually, you'd pay at the cashier in a place like this, but this salesperson was on the ball. If she asked, she must have a mobile payment device handy. Yang Ling smiled. "I'll use Alipay." "Sure, one moment." She told the other girls something, then headed to the cashier. After a minute, the salesperson came back with the cashier in tow, right there in front of everyone. Yang Ling calmly paid, and even asked about all the features of the Love Crazy X. The onlookers started buzzing again, but this time, they looked at Yang Ling with a lot more respect. Money talks. It's tough being broke, especially for a guy. Jiang Hua grabbed Yang Ling's hand, overcome with emotion. After handing the phone to his girlfriend, he just looked at Yang Ling, immensely grateful to his old classmate and best friend. Chen Ping looked like she'd swallowed a bug. She stared at Yang Ling, trying to figure out how this supposed loser who got dumped by Fang Yue could afford one Love Crazy X, let alone two. Had she misjudged him? Was he secretly rich? Always chasing after the money, she took a deep breath, forced a smile she hoped was cute, and said sweetly, "Yang Ling, I was wrong about you. There's a class reunion next month. Wanna go together?" Nothing. Yang Ling didn't even acknowledge her, acting like she hadn't said a thing. Everyone saw right through her, and she immediately became the butt of their jokes and gossip. Jiang Hua chimed in, mocking, "Chen Ping, didn't you say we weren't good enough to go to the reunion? Why the sudden invite? Maybe you want Yang Ling to buy you one too?" Ugh. Exposed in public, Chen Ping's face was as dark as could be. Just then, the system beeped in Yang Ling's head. Ding! You have fulfilled Jiang Hua's wish to buy a Love Crazy X, wish value +1. Ding! You have fulfilled Jiang Hua's girlfriend's wish value +1. Ding! You have fulfilled the onlooker's wish to see some drama, wish value +1. Ding! You have crushed Chen Ping's wish to mock Jiang Hua, attribute point +1. Ding! You have crushed Chen Ping's wish to see you embarrass yourself, attribute point +1. Ding! You have crushed Chen Ping's boyfriend's wish, attribute point +1. Ding! You have crushed Chen Ping's near-success wish, attribute point +1. After all the beeping, Yang Ling had earned 4 attribute points and a bunch of wish value. Now his wish value was at /10. A little more and he'd be able to make another wish. The thing about the Chinese, they really love a good show. Everywhere you go, they're always ready to hand out wish points and attribute points like candy. Happy as he was inside, Yang Ling kept a straight face. He turned to Jiang Hua and said, "It's been a while. Let's go for a walk." And started off. Chapter 19. The plan to make money. You are listening at novelfull.audio. For the first time in a long time, Jiang Hua felt grateful and admired Yang Ling. He quickly pulled his girlfriend along to follow him. Yang Ling completely ignored Chen Ping, acting like she wasn't even there. Chen Ping's face flushed with anger. She watched Yang Ling walk away, cool and collected, and then glared at the fat guy beside her, consumed by anger and regret. Tears welled up in her eyes. Yang Ling, of course, didn't give a second thought to the gold-digging girl. He quickly found an excuse to ditch Jiang Hua's date and said, "So, how's life been treating you?" Jiang Hua gave a weak smile. "Don't even ask, man. What can I do? No education, no skills. He even changed how he addressed Yang Ling, showing his newfound respect. He looked at Yang Ling, a bitter smile on his face. Thanks for today, really. Don't worry, I'll pay you back that 8,000 yuan. Yang Ling smiled and shook his head. Don't sweat the money. Pay me back when you can. Changing the subject, he asked, Hey, Jiang, what are your plans for the future? Jiang Hua looked glum. Take it one day at a time, I guess. Suddenly, as if struck by a thought, he asked, Hey, you seem to be doing pretty well. How about I follow you, yeah? You say jump, I say how high. Yang Ling studied the young man beside him. He had helped Jiang Hua today not just because they were close, but because he had an idea. After a moment of silence, Yang Ling said seriously, I'm going to try and make some money, but it might be a total bust. You gotta think about it if you wanna tag along. Seeing that Yang Ling was serious, Jiang Hua's expression changed. He nodded eagerly. I'm broke, but I'll hit up my family for some cash. Tell me, what's the plan? Ding. Jiang Hua's wish to start a business with you has been fulfilled. Wish value +1. Current progress, August 10th. Hearing this, Yang Ling smiled. Since the system chimed in, Jiang Hua was serious about joining him. His friend might not be the sharpest tool in the shed, but he wasn't an idiot. He was actually pretty clever and capable. If he was going to make money, he needed help, and Jiang Hua was a good candidate. Yang Ling smiled, patted him on the shoulder and said, Here's the deal. I'll give you 2 grand for expenses. You can help me scout around for a storefront. Get me the asking price and we'll talk turkey with the owner. Jiang Hua was surprised. What kind of store are you planning to open? Do you have any requirements for location or size? Yang Ling was pleased. If he was asking those questions, he wasn't clueless. He transferred 2,000 yuan to Jiang Hua's account and said, I've already got an idea for the kind of store. Don't worry about the money, just find it. The storefront can be anywhere from 500 to 1,000 square feet. A good location is ideal, but if you can't find one, that's okay too. Jiang Hua nodded. Don't worry, I'm on it. All right. Yang Ling patted him on the shoulder and said, We'll talk about your salary when you find the store. I gotta run. I'll catch you later. Jiang Hua nodded, watching Yang Ling walk away, a little stunned. Yang Ling was still the same, but he felt different, more calm, with the air of someone in charge. It made him both admire and fear him. Chapter 20 Unlimited Wishing Opportunities. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yang Ling left the registration office feeling great. Not only had he signed up without a hitch, but he'd also helped out a girl he liked and snagged a little wish value in the process, a totally unexpected bonus. As he headed toward the Xinhua bookstore, Yang Ling's thoughts turned serious. He'd stepped on Tian Zhuyan's leg the night before. Knowing that guy's temper, he'd definitely be out for revenge, and it wouldn't be just a few bodyguards this time. Yang Ling needed to get stronger, and fast. He still had 5 free attribute points. After a moment's hesitation, he decided to put 2 into strength and 3 into agility. His new stats looked like this: strength, 3. Agility, 4. Stamina, 11. Charm, 1. Wish value, 9 out of 10. A strength of 3 already put him above the average adult, almost on par with a fitness trainer. That was a serious boost, and with 4 points in agility, forget about it. He was basically as fast as the world's best sprinter. His body was flexible, his reflexes were lightning fast, and his ability to dodge had skyrocketed. 4 or 5 guys with knives or bats probably couldn't lay a hand on him for a solid 10 minutes, though he wasn't quite at the level of dodging bullets yet. As for stamina, he could hold off on that for now, thanks to his injury recovery skill. But stamina was still important. It determined his endurance, and even how well he performed with the ladies. If you catch his drift. Feeling the warmth surging through him, Yang Ling sighed with relief. Improving his strength was the only way to feel safe. Just then, a watchdog beside him started barking. Yang Ling frowned and tossed a coin at it. Ding! Throwing mastery skill activated. Animals have instincts, and they usually don't mess with anything stronger than them. The coin smacked the watchdog on the forehead, it started to lunge, but one look at Yang Ling's cold eyes was enough to scare it off. It tucked its tail and ran. Ding, you crushed the watchdog's wish to scare you, attribute point +1. Hearing the system's chime, Yang Ling remembered he got 2 attribute points and 2 wish points every day from non-human creatures. Freebies. He didn't hesitate. He activated the eyes of exploration. A little while later, he was feeding a few carp in a small park near the bookstore when the system alert chimed again. Ding, your current wishing slot is full. You can make a wish. Ding, it has been detected that the host has behaved well for the past 2 days, and there will be an unlimited wishing meeting as an extra reward. What? Yang Ling was stunned. He thought back to his actions over the last couple of days. He'd either been beating someone up, stepping on someone's leg, slapping a bully's face, or even kicking a dog that got in his way. Was that considered good behavior? Was this a wish system, or a twisted one? This reward made Yang Ling consider really letting loose. After a moment's hesitation, he asked excitedly, System, you said it was unlimited wishes, so give me $10 trillion. Ding, money doesn't just appear. The system can mobilize $10 trillion from all over the world into your account. If you choose this wish, many people will go bankrupt, and you may be guilty of possessing a huge amount of property of unknown origin. Please consider carefully. Yang Ling listened, his mouth agape. The system had a point. This was a tricky situation.